if something's not right in your life, if something's not right, if something's off, if something's wrong, you don't feel great, there's something missing, be very careful in how you're analyzing that. Sleep is the key. If I can get most of my sleep quality, everything else falls in line. I've been on the road a lot lately, and I know for those who work and don't travel for work, you might think that's fantastic. And you know what? It's great. It's pretty fun, but it kind of screws up your routine as a routine-oriented person. And so being on the road, yes, it's fun to some degree, but you're also away from home and your routine is messed up. And one of the things that is messed up pretty often is your sleep. And so that quote I read you earlier, it's more of a reflection of from myself, but it's an idea that is very common in people who care about health. This idea that sleep is fundamentally very, very important for everything. It kind of sets up your whole day. And I don't want to spend this episode talking about the benefits of sleep and how to get perfect sleep, but I thought this was interesting because I want to walk through how we can distract ourselves from the root cause of core issues in our lives. And what do I mean by that? Maybe you feel like crap. Maybe life is not going great right now. Maybe everything seems to be failing. Your diet's not going well. You're missing the gym. You're not sleeping well. You're just kind of sad and angry or whatever. You don't feel right. You're not feeling great. And the interesting thing is you can find a million reasons for why your life might not be going great right now. You can point out all kinds of external reasons that the Stoics would laugh at you for. You can say, it's my job. It's my boss, it's my coworkers, it's my partner, it's the fact that I don't know, I'm too short, or it's the fact that I'm a foreigner in a country, it's the fact that I'm a different skin color, whatever it might be. We can all find a million reasons why things might not be going particularly well for us. And the interesting thing about this is that they're all probably right to some degree. Meaning if you take away a lot of those examples, but just take the simple example I started with of you're not feeling great day to day. Your sleep's off, you're not eating well, your gym routine sucks. And if you think about all of that, you can point to some things. Well, my gym routine is off because I'm not disciplined enough to go to the gym every day. And that could be an answer. And you know what? It probably is an answer. It's one answer to that question. And you think about something like sleep. Okay, well, my sleep sucks. And you say, why does my sleep suck? Well, maybe it's because I had a drink last night, or maybe it's because I have a lot on my mind, or maybe it's because work really stressed me out. Again, you can point to a lot of different reasons, and all of them are right to some degree. So, why does it matter to find the root cause of issues? And the simple answer, the most obvious answer, is that unless you find the root cause of issues, you're going to be chasing things to fix that might not actually fix the real issue. The root cause of an issue is the fundamental issue, not the issues that arise because of other issues, but the fundamental issue. And so let me give you an example of this, one that I started the episode with. If you're traveling on the road a lot, there's a lot of things that are going to go different for you, because you can't live by your typical habits and you're not in your home. You're away. You're in a smelly hotel somewhere. You're working different hours. And so your habits are off, and therefore everything in your life is going to be off. And so I found traveling, I'm missing gym sessions, my diet is not the best, and my sleep is very poor. And because of all those things, I feel not great, like just lethargic throughout the day. And so you can chase, in this example, okay, well, I'm not disciplined enough to go to the gym. I'm not getting up early enough. I'm not dedicated to waking up on time. You could say, I always crave poor food and I give in to temptation. Therefore, I eat bad food and then I gain weight, and then it's just this cycle. And again, it's not that all of those answers are not partially right. But if you really think about it, and I really did in this example, this isn't the root cause of everything, by the way, but it is in this example. I determined, I felt, I pondered, I contemplated on this, and I came to a bit of a conclusion that the fundamental reason is because my sleep is poor. So what happens when you have poor sleep, if you didn't know this? When you have poor sleep, you're less recovered. That's an obvious one. Mr. Obvious Strong Stoic. That's an obvious one. Yes, you're less recovered, and so you don't feel as energetic. But because of all that, you also have reduced willpower. That's right. If you don't get enough sleep, your willpower goes down. When your willpower goes down, you're less likely to go to the gym. You're less likely to eat well because you have no willpower. And willpower is required in order for you to actually do difficult things, or things that are not necessarily easy or comfortable, but are good for you in the long term. Hey there. Let me thank you for being a listener to this ad-free podcast. If you enjoy the podcast, there are a few things you can do to help me out. A 5-star review on Spotify or wherever you're listening to this really does help, and it's free. You can also sign up for my Substack newsletter or Patreon. Substack free gets each episode emailed to you along with the transcripts in the form of an article. You'll also get access to my live talks, followed by a Q&A afterward. Substack Premium supporters and my patrons on Patreon get access to the recordings and a brief article of those Q&A sessions, access to full episodes of the Paradoxically Speaking podcast, my Steps to Success interview series, Stoic meditations, and much more. Links to Substack and Patreon can be found in the show notes. And so you get down to this conclusion that I have, that if I could just focus on getting my sleep right, all those other things would fall into line. And then you unpack it further, because this is the interesting thing. So let's say the root cause is sleep. Well, what's the root cause of my sleep being poor? Well, I was on a plane late. I don't have my home routine. I'm not wearing my blue light blocking glasses at night, which blocks blue light, which keeps you awake at night. I'm not going to bed exactly on the same time as I normally do when I'm home. I don't have my knee pillow. I don't have my neck pillow. I have a insanely detailed sleep routine going up into the last hour of before bed. I have a Pulsetto device, which I recommend. It's a device that goes on your neck and it stimulates your vagus nerve, which relaxes your heart and your nervous system and allows you to go into a deeper sleep. And these things are a little pricey, I will admit. However, if you can afford it, they're great. And if not, you can actually stimulate the vagus nerve with particular breathing patterns. And so you don't need this fancy device, but it is nice. All that to say, when you look into this, what is causing me to have poor sleep? You find all of these different things, all of these different factors. And so, because I'm traveling, a lot of these things are challenging. So what do? You do your best. All right, you try and go to bed at the same time. You try and make sure everything's dark. You try and get a pillow in between. You try and mimic the whole routine to optimize your sleep patterns. But the point is that when you can find the one thing, if you can just fix this one thing, which in this example it's sleep, then everything else falls in line. My gym routine, my mood is better, my meals are better, I have better willpower, I'm eating healthier. And the crazy thing about that is if you're not going to the gym, your sleep suffers because your body isn't stressed enough physically, so you can't get to sleep as well. And if you're eating poorly, then you also don't sleep well because your diet doesn't impact how well you sleep. And so it's just this vicious cycle that, to be honest, I got back from traveling, 4 or 5 days ago, and I'm still like just recovering my sleep from that period of travel. And so there's two parts to this episode. There's the whole me beating the drum of get some better sleep, because sleep is very, very important, and it is the root cause of a lot of your daily issues. But then more broadly, more philosophically speaking, if something's not right in your life, if something's not right, if something's off, if something's wrong, you don't feel great, there's something missing, be very careful in how you're analyzing that. Because there are a lot of different reasons for why you're in the situation that you're in. And there's probably so many reasons that you can't even see. Gandalf in Lord of the Rings has this wonderful quote. He says, "Even the wise cannot see all ends." Meaning, even the most wise person cannot see all of the little intricacies and details and nuances that surround your life, and all the little actions and decisions and externals that put you where you are today. It's very, very complicated, and your little tiny primate brain cannot comprehend all of that detail. However, what you can do as a primate with a pretty good brain, let's be honest, is try and get things down to the foundation. Yes, it's important to look at the higher level reasons, the smaller reasons surrounding why things might not be going great, but ultimately you want to find the source of the problem. And if you can fix the source of the problem, and I don't know what that is for you, dear friend, because your life is complicated and you might not even know, but hopefully you can narrow it down. Hopefully you can move towards the right solution. If you can find and address that root cause, it's going to fix everything else. You don't need to fix 100 problems. You need to fix like 5 of them that are the root cause of all of your other problems. And that's hard to do. But I'm going to leave you with a little bit of hope here. Hopefully a lot of hope, but at least a little bit of hope. And that is that you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be directionally right. Meaning, go back to that example of sleep and diet and gym and all that being messed up. I mentioned at the end how it's a bit of a vicious cycle. If you eat poorly, your sleep's going to be bad. If you sleep bad, you're going to make bad diet decisions. And if you go to the gym, you're going to have better sleep. But if you don't go to the gym, you're going to have poor sleep. And then if you have poor sleep, you're not going to be able to go to the gym because you're not well rested. It's this vicious cycle. And so even though you can look at that and let's say sleep is the root cause, if you're directionally right, meaning if you fix your diet to some degree, if you fix going to the gym to some degree, all of a sudden, your sleep will get better. And then eventually, maybe you'll realize and understand what the actual root cause is, which in this example is good sleep. But the point is that as long as you're directionally right, as long as you're slowly moving towards the general area of wherever the solution is, that's good enough for you to see progress. And if you get better, just a little bit, just a tiny, tiny bit every day, that's going to compound over days, weeks, months, years, decades. And you might actually find yourself having a pretty good life.